Hello, welcome. I'm Simon Legend Killer, and I will be your host today. So, I'm going to be playing the Lost Harvest DLC for Dune Awakening. My first step, and whenever I do any of this new content, is always to go gather my stuff and go get my gear. When you first log on to play in Dune Awakening after this DLC comes out, if you've bought the DLC, it will immediately give you a message saying, Mayday, Mayday, we need help. So you also get, as you will see me do, I realize that I have a bunch of different armor sets in my inventory, so I have to go to my room in my base, put down a chest, and store a bunch of stuff in it. Because I don't want to be running around with 25 armor sets. I don't know who would. I also end up changing out my Syndicate helm for the Swordmaster helm because Swordmaster cooldowns, even if it's only like 1% difference, still pretty nice. Um, for the most part, I'll be running around in the Mark 6 Ornithopter, Scout Ornithopter. I will be editing out parts of the video because I'm trying to keep this video around 30 minutes, not much longer than that. So there will be a bunch of cut content, so it will jump around a little bit. I will try to do a brief in the video to let you know when it's transitioning from location to location and what's going on in the story. But I didn't think you'd want to sit here and watch an entire hour and a half long video about me wandering through doing Lost Harvest, especially since about a good two-thirds of the stuff I cut was just me traveling to and from different locations to do the DLC. Uh, if you have any questions or anything, recommendations, you can always leave it in the comments. And please enjoy me playing through Lost Harvest. Well, first, when you first start up the DLC, you have to fly all the way down to the south because it's all going to be in Hogga Basin South. Between Hogga Basin South and the Terminus Gap, you'll find the Reckoned Mithra. So this is also DLC that technically, if you're new to the game or new to a new server, it is a content that you can do pretty much straight from the beginning after you get out of the South Hogga Basin. And you will fly over there, and as you fly over there, you'll see the wreck, the new wreck, and as you land, you'll walk up into the ship and talk to a bunch of NPCs. Unfortunately, for the purpose of this video, somehow I forgot to record the game audio, so I don't have any of the conversations, and it was poorly cropping out all the text. So I will not be having any of the conversations with the NPCs just because I don't think you want to listen to no audio and poorly cropped NPC chatter. So each NPC is going to give you a quest to go do. One of the NPCs I cannot highly recommend more than this will have a quest you give him some items. So I would recommend bringing at least 10 heal kits, 400 light darts, and 4 improved molotov pistols, or at least the materials to create that to complete one of the quests without having to go anywhere. And then you'll wander around and you go find where the quests are to complete. You'll see in this short part of this video that I am about to wander into a part of the ship I'm not supposed to go into yet, so I will be confused and lost, and then leave that part of the ship to go somewhere else and do more of the quest. At this point, I'm going to start wandering around the islands to find some of the quest items and some of the quest objectives. So they'll be spread all throughout the island the ship is located on, and you basically have to go around and clear the crab camps. I'd be very careful because I have to end up backtracking in this video because I ignore some of the objectives because I'm focused on one objective. So each crab camp will have a recording, and later it'll have other quest items you must also collect in each camp. So make sure that you complete both quest objectives in each camp so you don't have to backtrack and do both. The second quest items that are main issue is the turn in the item quests. If you do the turn in the item quests, he'll eventually give you quests to go kill some people and then go collect a bunch more items. On your way around, you'll also notice I'm flying around my ornithopter. Ornithopter is recommended, not required. It's just a lot easier as a general and doing awakening to get all around on an ornithopter. I'm using a poison mist, so I'm one-shotting most enemies with a poison mist. Considering they're Karabs, you could probably get rid of poison mist being a Drilinium tier, if I recall correctly. So you could get rid of them with an aluminum or steel tier weapon. More than likely, you don't need a poison mist or even a helix pick. And I'd almost say a helix pick would be a complete and utter waste. I would use a steel tier or a aluminum tier weapon to take out these enemies because they're not that hard. They're just crops from the Terminus Gap for the first part of this DLC. Eventually, I find myself at the entrance to the bridge, but since I'm not on that part of the quest yet, I move on to go do what I actually need to do.
Below me. There we go.
Now, as I complete the last of my objectives for this part of the quests, I gather my last Kurok tag and I make my way back to the NPCs to turn in all the quests I've got so far and get a couple new quests to move forward. Here's where I will once again interject and add that you definitely need to make sure you turn in the heal kits early because otherwise you will end up backtracking. As you can see in this part of the section of the video, I have to backtrack and go pick up some of the items that I forgot. So make sure that you try and keep all your quests or look up a guide or something so that all your quests are done at the same time so you don't have to backtrack. Because backtracking will definitely waste a lot of your time in this DLC if you are not careful, especially in this first part. Going forward in the later parts, it's more linear. So it's less of a worry about getting sidetracked and having to go back and do other content.
Improvised mullet pistols. Let's make these real quick. And this would be no trespassing. Cool.
Now, for those you're concerned that you're not going to be able to find this part of the ship and that I didn't show you where it's at, don't worry. I'll show you later part of the video because once again, I did keep all my quests all linear, so I have to come back and backtrack. And I'll come back to this part later in the video.
Someone's here, now you're not. Let's take the lunch food. Do do do. All right. There's a green one right here.
In part of this section of the video, I'm going to get lost, so it will jump to me finding the pen of shield because I couldn't find the pen of shield and I spent 10 minutes looking for it.
Well, based on what I know so far, I'm gonna go find. Go. And then this room. And now, that'll be where the relay team's supposed to be.
I can't emphasize how important it is to make sure that you have sugar wire equipped for some of the obstacles. And honestly, for that, the communication tower you're watching me climb up to with a sugar wire, it's almost all just as easy if you have an ornithopter to hop on the ornithopter and fly to the top, because it is a decent ways up there. That being said, after you turn this quest in, you will be finished with 1/3 of the main quest they give you for this part of the Fall of Minerva. Speaking of backtracking, I'm about to backtrack here, and I'm going to show you where the area that I just seemed to jump to earlier in the video is, because I have to backtrack to go activate the emergency beacon that I had not gotten to yet in the quest chain. So once again, friendly reminder, you may want to pay attention to what order you're doing the quests in.
I remember there's a back room back here. It's back here. Oh, I still have the bracelet, I guess. Doo doo doo.
After you complete all 3 quests, it'll ask you to talk to Chief Hansen one more time. Once you talk to him one more time, he tells you that everybody's good. You'll get contacted by Valari, who will ask you to come help him retrieve an object that was supposed to be being transported inside the Mirthra. So now it is time to travel away from the shipwreck that you've been traveling in for the past 20-30 minutes and go travel all the way over to the ironworks in northern West Vermilius Gap, where you will try and find if his package is still inside the ironworks. As a quick side note here, I'd highly recommend landing your ornithopter up in the quest area instead of trying to sugar wire up to it. It is faster and more efficient.
It's up. So we have to go up this way. I just need to find the armband again, which I think is over here. Nope. This just goes all the way down to the ground floor. Nope, it's gonna be right there. It's interesting that I think they've somewhat mixed new and old content, which is not bad. Not the best. Not bad. Let's go over here.
After you pick up the object Valar requested, he'll send you to go bug a couple Kirab camps.
Hmm. Did someone say drop pod? Woohoo! 60 more levels to go. Testicles. Do do do. Alright.
As I land at this camp, you'll realize what I started to realize is that they've started to use a whole lot of old content, which I don't think is a bad thing, because I think they're trying to get some of the newer players to have opportunity to get to the DLC earlier and have us give us a reason to go revisit old areas.
On the outside. Or below.
After you put down the last listening device, Lard will contact you telling you that he may have found where the people currently holding his package, the slavers, are, and he'll send you to go to do some old testing stations that have been revamped. You'll do a series of them, but I think they're still worth doing, and I still think they're quite fun. Our first testing station we're going to be doing is testing station number 13, which you may have done if you already played this game before. But if you're new, welcome to testing station 13. You'll first clear the right and then the left, and then you'll go straight up above to get the treasure room in which the target will lie in. And then once you're done talking to the corpse, interacting with the corpse, Valaria will contact you again.
Time to kill some slightly higher level mobs. Ooh, new testing station. That haven't been explored before. Shiny. Ooh, disruptor. Dead disruptor. Should be an armband somewhere. Oh, yep, there it is. Do.
After you complete this testing station, Valaria will send you to another testing station, but this time there's a secret in the back of the testing station that you will not have seen the first time you play through this testing station.
Another testing station. Down to the testing station. Which is in the Hogger Rift.
As a side note, for traveling down the Hogger Rift, there is actually access if you want to. You can fly an ornithopter down from the top down to the bottom to this testing station instead of jumping down.
Oh, I recognize this one. I think.
And speaking of secret long tunnels, this is the entrance at the back of the testing station I just was talking about earlier. That leads to a new forgotten testing station that was not playable before.
Ooh. Oh, I went back to the entrance. Probably because unlocked new doors that weren't there before.
So, as you reach the end of this testing station, you'll start noticing that this lethal projection starts talking to you, like guiding you and saying, "Come deeper in the base." Seems strange because most of the lethal projections throughout the rest of the stations are recorded. So why is he acting different? As you approach the end of the testing station, you realize why. Because this is no human being recorded from posterity. This is a thinking machine that has taken over the projection form of the lethal projection and is trying to lure you deeper in. So when you finally put the data control slate in, so that it starts containing the AI, it starts sending mob waves of enemies at you that you have to defeat. And this will go on for a while. My recommendation is to bring a gun because, as you see with my sword, there's a lot of them. So if you bring machine gun, they just fold instantly, and it's a lot easier than trying to stab like 30 of them.
Well, was not expecting that.
So after you finally defeat the waves of enemies and the AI is contained within the gel capsule, the new mission is to now escape the lab. And when you escape the lab, you were told to bring the capsule to Alua Tuek. You may remember from the first part of the campaign, where it was talk about the Assassin's Handbook. So you return to her in Harko Village and turn in the quest item to her, and then she'll tell you to go away for a while.
Well, looks like I'm approaching the end of this DLC.
I have to report that I was in fact wrong. This is not the end of the DLC. There's still quite a bit more of content to go before the end of the DLC. So this will mark the end of the first part of my running through the Lost Harvest DLC. I will be resuming doing another video as soon as I can. I'm probably going to stream when I do the second part. And with the second part, I'm probably going to cut a lot less content because there'll be a bunch of new content. And then I should have the game audio so that you can actually hear what I'm doing instead of just hearing silence the whole time. Sorry about that for this first part. But anyways, hope to see y'all next time. And remember to have fun.